I think a lot of opposition politicians will challenge the Prime Minister's claim that this is inevitable. These huge profits by British Gas and Shell will reignite the calls for a much tougher windfall tax. Remember, Rishi Sunak, the former Chancellor, initially resisted that, then performed a U-turn. His latest U-turn, of course, this week has been to propose scrapping VAT on fuel bills for a year if he becomes Prime Minister. But there are plenty of people saying that the Prime Minister and the Chancellor need to do more. Also, Ed Miliband, who is Labour's shadow climate change and net zero secretary, claims that at the same time as these big profits are being made by these companies, the government is proposing what he says are billions in new tax breaks for oil and gas, an obscene decision when families are facing a true cost of living emergency, he said. Mr Miliband also claims that both the candidates in the Tory leadership contest, that's Liz Truss and Mr Sunak, are living on another planet when it comes to the cost of living emergency. He points out that Mr Sunak opposed the windfall tax tooth and nail, and he criticises Liz Truss for abandoning the talking about the green levy and so on. So there is a political row going on here, inevitably. Some politicians from the opposition will no doubt say British Gas, example of an industry privatised by the Conservatives, which is not treating its consumers very well. However, in the past few minutes, we have heard from the Chancellor, the new Chancellor, Nadhim Zahawi. Will he still be in the job after the 5th of September? He has announced that last night he and his colleagues at the Treasury had an emergency meeting to see what more can be done to help consumers hit by these rising bills.
Last night, I met with my senior team in the Treasury to see what more we need to do. We are absolutely focused on this now, and I hope whoever is in number 10 Downing Street on the 5th of September, we will have all the plans ready to see what more we can do. Of course, we know that this is a global challenge. It's the challenge facing the German people and, of course, other countries as well. But we will always be on the side of people, try and help wherever we can to mitigate against these energy price shocks.
Well, Mr Zahawi also pointed out in that interview that it's very tough. He admitted that gas prices continue to be extraordinarily high. What he said is that the government is putting £37 billion to work in this 12 months. The first tranche has gone out to people last week. More is to come in the autumn, £1,200 to the 8 million households that need that additional help. So it sounds as though the government is in a response to the pressure from families, from opposition politicians and various campaigners like Martin Lewis, of course, the money-saving expert. There could well be some more help for people, but it looks as though it's not going to come until we have a new Prime Minister. The two candidates for Prime Minister are taking part in their first Conservative Party hustings tonight. Cost of living crisis is bound to come up, and it's pretty certain that they will be asked, what are you going to do to help people who are suffering under these huge bills? And so we await the latest from Mr Sunak and Liz Truss on that later on tonight.